Hi everyone, it's Angus Campbell here, Monday the 12th of February 2024. Well, it's been quite a few weeks now since my last sort of update video, which was before Christmas. And that's because I've not been too well. I contracted COVID over Christmas and I was on a new therapy for my joints, which compounded things, and then I came down with some complications afterwards, post-COVID, high blood pressure and a number of other things. So January I felt terrible, not myself at all, didn't want to do anything, no motivation, almost depressed really. Anyway, eventually towards the end of January started to feel a bit better, and certainly in the last couple of weeks have improved no end. Still got one or two things with joints that we're trying to get on top of, but today the sun's shining outside, it's not too cold, and that's given me a bit of motivation to at last get back into the garage. One, to tidy it up a bit, and two, to start making some progress again on Greg Lawton's Jubilee Bonneville, just here. So nothing much has happened in the last 6 weeks since the last update. I've got beginning to plan a few things this year, but I won't spill the beans on that until some things have been tied down. So for the moment, it's just to get on a bit and get things moving, and as I say, make some progress, because it's been static a bit too long. So without further ado, let me just do a quick review on where we are with the Bonnie and what we're going to get on with short term. Right, so this is where we left it, and this is pretty much where we were probably round about October, November time, when Greg was last here and we ploughed up with quite a lot of stuff. In the meantime, we have got the wheels fully rebuilt, which you all know about. But the last thing that I remember we were going to focus upon, which we can crack on with now, are some bits and pieces up the front. So we've got some new chrome headlight mounting bolts, got a new rim retaining proper chrome screw for that, little bits and pieces. But the other thing that we needed to do was to put the to mount the head steady, and we didn't do that at the time because we realised that we were missing under the two centre Allen caps. We were missing what they call a bridge washer or a bridge spacer, which should be under these two rather than these screwing down straight onto the cylinder head. So we can get on with that. And the next thing was that we've sprayed up the rear caliper mounting plates, etc., that come off the frame down here. And I think, as I mentioned last time, ignore that Fury tank down there, we'll come on to that some other time. As I said last time, it's this year on the T140, the rear brake caliper mounting was a bit of a lash up, plate on plate, etc., before they modified it in 1978 on the T140D Bonneville Special, and mounted the caliper above the disc with a long brake steady arm, instead of this way, which is underneath the disc, as I say, with some plates that live very close to the frame on that side. So I've got to remind myself by doing a sort of a mock-up of how these go together. We've got all new nuts and bolts and things, UNF, UNC, etc. That have arrived before Christmas, so we can tidy up that side of it, things as well. But you know, first of all, to get back into this, then we'll do some bits and pieces, and we'll be on our way then. Following that, we've got the 2 mudguards to touch up there over there. You can see them up the other side of the aerial 3 there. Just about front and rear mudguards. There you go, that's a better view. Just above the aerial 3 there at the back. We've got the silver to do on those. And also, because it's a lovely day today and the sun's out and it's fairly warm in the sun, then I've started putting some primer undercoat on the parts that Greg really focused on cleaning up and putting rust proof, etc. on last time it was here. So that's you know, 3.5 months ago, so we need to get on. But those parts, although they hadn't been primed, I had them stored away and packed properly, so there's some more of them in here. Obviously these alley side ones don't need well, we are going to black paint them, so we might yeah, we probably should prime them too, but these are all the parts that need painting basically. And what I'll do today is start putting a thin coat of primer on all of those, just to a bit late now, prevent the rust, but we hadn't packed properly, so that didn't happen. Right, so I'm going to crack on with this side of it, but then we'll come back in, and as I say, we'll start doing some bits and pieces on this and get a few clips, and we'll do a fairly short video for the first one back. But it's good to be back in the garage and getting on with some stuff at last and planning. I did do a little bit in January and tried to keep myself motivated on the aerial 3 at the back there, so put the tyres up and also took the carb off and cleaned that because it was still showing a little bit of a starvation when I last run it, which is a while ago now. So we did find some more muck in the carb, so that probably explains that. And depending on how the weather is, it's Monday now. Next Sunday there's the usual monthly classic vehicle meet at a business park just outside Market Harbour, just in the morning. You know, if all bodes well, I'm feeling like it and the weather's not too bad, etc., we might try and give the aerial 3 a run to that event, because it's not too far and there's only a little bit of major main road that we'll need to navigate. But anyway, let's just play that one ear by ear. Other than that, let's get on with a bit on the Bonnie. Right, we're making some progress. So new bolts in, new proper screw in, just simple little things like that, just tidying up. And got the 2 centre Allens undone, and you can see there's the bridging washer that I've put in. Steel ones, so that'll protect the alley and spread the load as well. I haven't disturbed anything else, but I will obviously check torques on all of this once I've torqued the centre, and we'll go around again, but it should be all right. I don't think the head will have moved at all. That's that done. So we'll move on to the head steady down there. What I've also been doing is thinking about what I said earlier, and doing a test fit of the rear caliper on its plates, etc. I've just remembered that the rear caliper is an absolute mess. It was working okay, but as you can see, it needs tidying up. So I do have some caliper paint in silver, and this stuff, it's obviously been painted twice in the past by hand, and it's not adhered very well. Whatever paint it is, looks a bit like sort of hammerite to me. Wrong colour as well, but anyway, minor thing. But it's coming off easy, just chipping away at that. Won't take much to sort that out. Mask a few bits off, and then I'll just spray it. You can see remnants of the original colour here, but other than that, poor thing's been messed about with a bit. We'll soon sort that out. And I say cracking on with just putting a light primer coat on as many pieces as I can before it gets too cool this afternoon. So let's crack on. Right, continuing to plough on. So got a light coat of primer undercoat on the bare metal parts. Although they were bare metal, they've been treated for rust, etc. Rust converter. But anyway, they were in good condition, so managed to store them right, obviously, without getting damp in. So that's good. And also I've been having a go at this rear caliper, and we're getting there. It's not too much work, it's just a bit laborious. One thing though, if anybody can just enlighten me, on the pipe union here, we've got a spacer, but we've got 3 washers, one on one side and 2 on the other. Oh, I know why. Probably because, if I remember rightly, the union goes in between those 2 washers. That'll be right. Anyway, I'll check that up in the parts book. So, all good. Sun's beginning to go down a bit during the afternoon now. I just got one small part that I'm having to paint up, and this is the captive nut for the head steady at the frame mounting point, and then we'll have to leave it for today. And I think rain's forecast tomorrow, which is why I just wanted to get these bits and pieces done today. But we'll be back again maybe a bit tomorrow and a bit on Wednesday before I publish this, and we'll try to get on a bit more, and maybe we'll have a look at these mud guards as well, because I think with these mud guards, the front one is not too bad, but we've got that to deal with, and this. And the rear one, I think because of paint matching, etc., I think we're going to end up, as you can see, we've got a quite a big patch there, and there's others as well, especially on the other side of the guard. So I think what we decided to do was that we'd try and mask off the pinstriping at the back here, because that's in pretty good nick, and paint the rest of it all the same silver, because we've got the right silver colour for this, but no doubt it's not going to be an exact match at all, even if we feather in, because of obviously of the age of the guards. Let me just take the breather pipe out of the way so I can see it. See, there's a bit to do at the bottom there, but we've got all the paints to be able to try and touch that up. The front's good, so most of it's okay. Let me just lie that down gently. Right. Okie dokie, I'm going to leave it for there this afternoon, but before I publish this, I'll do another couple of clips in the next day or so, and I say what I want to do next is loosely put all the parts together for the rear caliper mounting. Right, a couple of days later, back in the garage. It was actually peeing down yesterday, so I didn't go out in that lot, but a bit brighter today, although still a bit damp. It's supposed to be a bit better tomorrow, so hopefully we can crack on, but can do a little bit today, and then we'll finish up this first video that I've done for a while, just to make it pretty short. Right, I'm glad we've done the primed pieces. They're all good. 1 or 2 bits to touch up, maybe 1 or 2 bits to give another coat, but they're just about ready really to put up a washing line at some point when we've got a reasonably warm, dry day to do the black top coat. And you'll have seen with previous parts I've painted for this bike how I do that. So what I'm focusing on now, just before as the last few clips for this video, is first of all the head steady and then start to pull together the pieces to mount the rear caliper, but I've got a bit to go on that yet. So I torqued up the two centre Allens. They're all good with the bridging washer now, which is great. So I've just been offering up the head steady, and I don't think that the way this was mounted up were as original, because the spaces etc. Were all wrong, i.e. spaces on the stud underneath the torque stays on the rocker boxes were were non-existent, and this was countered by a wrong spacer between the torque stay and its mounting bracket on the frame at this end. So I've been doing a bit of measuring up and put washers and spacers together that will now fit with proper as well nylock nuts, shake proof, well not shake proof nuts, but anyway stiff nuts, what I call them, but they're nylocks really, not stiff nuts. Stiff nuts don't only nylon in them, but anyway, I think we're all good. So all I'm doing now is I'm just cleaning up the captive nut on its plate that goes in here, and then we can tighten this lot down. And just to show you that, if you haven't seen it before, I'm just putting a bit of paint on it at the moment because it was in a right mess, so I've cleaned it all up and painting it. But there it is. So that plate fits inside the bracket and obviously holds the nut captive. And here's the bolt with its spacer and washers as well, and in this case a spring washer, although that's not shown in the parts book. In fact, you know, the parts books all a bit vague and not really clearly showing things the right way around, because the head steady's the wrong way around. It doesn't really show too much in detail really, but then parts books don't, I suppose, necessarily. But I think we're confident that we've got that sorted out in the right order anyway. And yeah, just been doing more cleaning up on this, then just did a test paint with the brake caliper paint that I've got. I'm not promoting this, I've never used this before, but it's one that I found on the net specifically for brake calipers, so I presume it's heat resistant or whatever. But it gives a reasonable silver colour. I mean, don't worry about the finish. I haven't finished prepping this yet. I just want to see what colour it was, but I think that'll do fine, to be honest. You can sort of see the remnants of the original colour there, so it's not the same match, but it's close enough, I think. And obviously when I do this properly, once I've got it all cleaned up and degreased, etc., then I'll be masking certain areas off to keep the paint out. So that's coming on too. So let me just mount the torque arm stay properly, and that's another job done. And as I say, we'll just start laying out down here somewhere the parts for the caliper mounting plates, because it's all tied in down here. So there's the caliper plate itself, that mounts onto another plate, and then you've got the rear engine plate on this side. So three all together, and sort out the various nuts and bolts, etc., to put all that together. But obviously we can't put it together just yet until I've finished the preparing the caliper and just tidying that up. But at least we'll sort the parts out. Anyway, stop waffling, get this lot torqued down. Right, that's the head steady on and tightened down, and probably some people were screaming at me probably. It was actually on upside down. So the parts book is wrong, and what you need to bear in mind is that these cutaways here need to be on the right hand side of the bike, because otherwise, if you put it on upside down with these on the other side, these two holes will line up, but it doesn't line up at all with the nut and mounted bolt onto the bracket. And before anybody says anything, that's all tightened up and all right. It does butt out here, but it won't go in the other way around. And as you can see at the back there, hopefully, the plate is right at the back, and there's the nut on it. So, looks a bit Heath Robinson. but it's certainly better than it was, because when we took this apart, we realised from the wear on the bolt at the back here that this was never tight. So what happened was that all the spacings were wrong, so that the bar wasn't straight, flat on the head. So that's good. That's that done. Right, so we'll just lay out the parts now for the rear brake, and we'll focus on that in the next episode. Let's just do one last clip on that. Right, well, this is going to be fun, because with respect to these plates relating to the rear brake stroke caliper, they're not the same as the 77 parts book that I've got. So there's obviously some modifications, but I think we're getting close to how to put this lot together. And as I say, it's all a bit Heath Robinson. So this is obviously what the caliper mounts on. That goes through the wheel spindle. That is where the brake hose comes in and is mounted. And that is what the rear brake torque arm goes on, which is this, which is then bolted to the swinging arm there. And this is the plate that the slave cylinder goes on, which I think is again mounted on the same point on the swinging arm. And I do remember when I took this apart that this plate goes mounts on the swinging arm, but goes very close to the rear footrest bracket, and therefore the bolt heads that go through here were actually shaved down. So I'm going to do some investigation really just to make sure that when we took it apart, it had been previously put together properly. I'm not so sure at the moment. But anyway, the parts will fit. This is the rear engine plate with the pivot point for the rear brake lever. So that does fit on there okay with the two, these are the two engine mounting points, frame mounting points here. So that fits, so they do fit together, but I've just got to make sure that we're putting things on, installing things on the right side of plates and bolts and things like that, to make sure all the spacing is properly, and to make sure as well that the caliper obviously lines up with the disc. Right, we'll leave it there for now. That's done a bit of prep for the next video, and as I say, I'll do some research into this before the next episode, and we'll take it from there. But anyway, it's been a bit haphazard this, and the clips haven't been, some of these clips haven't been very clever, but I'm pleased to be back in the garage and got things moving again. And all that remains for me now is to pack all these parts up carefully, wait for a warmish day, and we'll get spraying again, because now most of these undercoated parts, I look a bit haphazard there, but I've been careful with them. Most of these undercoated parts actually form all the components that are going to fit in here: battery tray, coil and electrical trays, etc., toolbox tray, rear mudguard, mounting brackets, etc. But before we get on to all of that, and indeed the mudguards themselves, then we need to just get all this lot sorted out down here. Right, I'll leave it there, stop waffling on. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Thanks for interest, comments and any subscriptions. And bearing in mind health doesn't deteriorate any further, I'll see you all again soon. Cheers, bye-bye.